Manawaker Studios Flash Fiction Podcast is supported by patrons on Patreon. To find out more or to add your support for as little as $1 a month, visit patreon.com/Manawaker. Welcome to Manawaker Studios Flash Fiction Podcast. I'm CB Drogi. This week, The Girl, the Machine, and the When by Finn MacGinty O'Neill. There lived a factory girl on a yellow-skied planet. Her factory produced parts for a machine. It was thousands of miles away. It was so large and so terrible she couldn't conceive its purpose. The parts were striped black-yellow, small but integral. Often, thieves snuck into the factory, draped in the workers' brown cloaks. They would steal parts, then hide them in a very uncomfortable place. Most of them couldn't get past the scanner droids floating around the factory floor. Others got thrown outside by Gleets, the forewoman with skin like oxidized copper. There, they choked. The few who possessed protection would make it out into the runoff pools, between the scorched mesas, under the white lightning. Then it got them. The workers called it the when, for it's not if it gets you, but when. Zenda, who refilled the factory's generators with the black stuff, ran bets with company tokens. Everyone gambled on how far one thief could get. The girl would lose, for she hoped they would escape the when, escape the planet, escape the machine, and escape its terrible purpose. Betwixt restless sleep and back-breaking labor, lying awake in the factory dorms, she would picture the parts, estimate their purpose, guess what connected to them, and imagine a grander purpose. But every time she tried, she would give up. It was like trying to see the back of your own head. When she gave up, she dreamt of the when. How it dove out of the dirt like a sea serpent, its steel shining, its cyclopean eye glowing red. Sometimes it glided, and she knew it loved this the most, without knowing how she knew. Returning to the earth disappointed it. She knew this too. Eventually, welding these two thoughts together, the girl made a plan. On Monday, she asked old Alfric, who loaded the parts onto his red velicopter, if he could spare a 6-arbor engine. "Why would you want that?" he wondered. "The factory floor needs stronger power," she said. On Tuesday, she asked Toma and her husband Pavel if they could spare a rotary fan. "Why would you want that?" they wondered. "The factory floor needs fresher air," she said. On Wednesday, she asked Zenda, who refilled the generators, if she could spare a bottle of the black stuff. "Why would you want that?" she wondered. "The factory floor needs some fun," she said. Then, Thursday morning, she was lifted up by the factory forewoman Gleets, tall and gangly like an angry lamppost. "You're a thief!" she yelled into the girl's face. "You've got a 6-arbor engine, a rotary fan, and a bottle of the black stuff under your cloak." "How could I steal," she said, "if it was all taken with permission?" "Don't question me," Gleets said, "or I shall throw you to the wen." The little girl thought of begging, but a thought occurred to her. "But you'll take the parts off me first and sell them on," she said. "We all know who the real thief around here is." A crowd had gathered around the commotion. Gleets sweated blue, her eyes darting around. Even if it wasn't true, it could dominate factory gossip for years unless quickly nipped in the bud. "I'm no thief," Gleets growled. "Watch." She threw the girl past the scanner droids and over the wall. Before she passed through the protective field, she held her breath. Landing desperate, she searched the runoff ponds and found a thief's corpse still clad in protective gear. She strapped it on and caught a breath, as then the ground began to rumble. Rocks tumbled, and the earth shook as the wen burst from below. Her guts felt like a nest of cockroaches under the light, but she stood as still as a rock. The wen looked down on her, confused, for even the bravest thieves ran. What do you do with a thief that stood their ground? The little girl took out the 6-arbor engine, the rotary fan, and a bottle of the black stuff. And the little girl asked, "Would you like to fly?" And the wen said yes, yes it would. With the fan she made wings, with the engine she made a motor, and with the black stuff a power source. The wen never knew such kindness. It asked what she wanted in exchange. She said, "To ride on your back." How could it refuse? Flying on steel wings, they cut up the sickly atmosphere with a red trail, then punched up into the blackness of space. The planet beneath them grew smaller and smaller, as did the sun that orbited it, and the solar system it inhabited, and the galaxy it existed within, and the universe it would perish in. And the girl looked down and saw the machine and its purpose. She laughed. It looked so small. This has been The Girl, the Machine, and the Wen, written by Finn MacGinty O'Neill. For more information about Manawaker Studios' other projects, including books and games, visit manawaker.com, which is also where you should go to learn more about the authors featured on this podcast or to get details about submitting a story. The Flash Fiction Podcast theme song is by Kevin MacLeod. Manawaker Studios' director of DICE is Ben Baston. I'm CB Droege. You can follow me on Twitter and Facebook at CBDROEGE. Thanks for listening. On the next installment of Manawaker Studios' Flash Fiction Podcast, every night I come home, I always look under the stairs. Always. I have to.